Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Happy Monday sa lahat ng mga ka-brunch natin.
Oo, sana namang linggo na magkakasama tayo.
Oo, and thank you pala sa Svensson for sending over yung breakfast namin for this morning.
Especially kay Pam.
Diba? Hindi lang pang book.
Pangkain pa.
Maraming salamat sa Svensson and all our followers. Thank you for joining us today sa lahat ng platform natin, social media and cable TV as well. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. We're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Aga-aga, nangaasar ka agad. Di pa nagsisimula.
Ball kasi pagkain.
Ball. Okay, let's start the countdown with exciting Game 2 of the PBA Philippine Cup semifinals. The San Miguel Beermen now holds a 2-0 lead in the series after defeating Rain or Shine 106-89. The Kraken, Junmar Fajardo, led the Beermen with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. Sinubukang tapatan ng Elasto Painters ang SMB sa first half. But the Beermen unleashed a 19-2 run going to the last quarter. In the first game of the semis doubleheader, tinabla ng Meralco ang serye kontra Barangay Nebra. Allen Maliksi provided the spark for Meralco after tallying 25 points. Gin King's Christian Stan Hardinger exploded with a career-high 41 points, but it wasn't enough to give San Miguel game number 2. Game 3 of the series will be on Wednesday night. 2-0, mainit.
Mainit ang labanan. And let's continue with our countdown. Sports pa rin tayo. Jumping to our 9th spot are the Yulo brothers. Two-time world champion Carlos Yulo and his younger sibling Carl Eldru collected gold medals in a recent gymnastics tournament in Uzbekistan last night. Carlos earned 4 medals after emerging at the top in vault and parallel bars in the 11th Senior Men's Artistic Gymnastics Asian Championships. The 24-year-old Wonder Boy bested opponents from Uzbekistan, Malaysia, and China. Earlier, Carl Eldru reigned supreme in the junior division vault event. The upcoming gymnastics star edged opponents from Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan.
Itong mga Yulo brothers, mga talented.
Diba?
Mga elastic.
Oo, 'di ba? Talagang kumbaga Filipino pride.
Yes.
Abangan natin din yung mga gagawin nila sa Paris, 'di ba?
Yes.
Kasama sila. And congratulations din kay EJ Obuena, tama ba? Oo. Kasi meron din siyang
Obiena.
Oo. Meron siya kasing napanalunan din eh. Go ahead.
Could you imagine, no? 1 week of tournament, paghahanda mo ng ilang buwan, no?
Yes.
So, yung condition talaga yung mga athletes dapat. Iba talaga ang training nila. Saludo kami sa inyo. Alright, next na tayo. Ranking 8th in our countdown are some infectious diseases in the country. The Health Department reported that the cases of measles, rubella, or MR pertussis and dengue are declining. Around 2,500 cases of MR were recorded from January to May 11. DOH said the MR cases declined by 8%. 83% or 2,100 of these cases are children below 10 years old. Meanwhile, DOH noted over 2,500 cases of pertussis as of May 11. The pertussis cases declined by 25%. Regarding dengue, the cases dropped to 5,211 from April 7 to 20. The Health Department reminded the public to eliminate the breeding sites of mosquitoes like tires and buckets to prevent the rise of dengue. Yan, yung mga stagnant water na nag-iipon sa mga gulong na natanggal, di ba? O yung mga bucket, o yung mga yung mga rubber na pinagtataniman na tinanggalan ng halaman, pag nag-imbak ang tubig doon nagsisimula ang dengue.
And even there are some plants, di ba, na-discover din natin na pagka, yung mga iba-iba yung shape niya, tapos naiipunan siya ng water inside, that will cause dengue.
Yung mga dent na mga daan na, yung mga daanan na mga sidewalk na may mga tubig, puddle na naiiwan doon for weeks on end. Yun, breeding ground ng mga dengue yan. Tsaka mind you, water does not have to be dirty para maging breeding ground ng dengue mosquitoes. Usually, they prefer pa na yung stagnant na medyo malinis na tubig so they can breed properly.
Pero ito nga, no, yung pinag-uusapan natin kasi few months ago, yung pertussis, napakalaki ng cases, di ba?
Yeah.
Naisipan pa din ng DOH na magsabi sa mga tao na as much as possible, kung kaya, mag-mask kasi nga tumataas ang cases.
Correct.
But this time around, it's a good development na bumababa yung cases nga dito sa atin. Dahil di ba may infant pa na namatay.
Meron.
Remember
Meron.
that news before? Alright, coming up. Presidential Advisor on Poverty Larry Gadon says poverty is only an imagination.
And no less than President Bongbong Marcos hits China over its new trespassing rule. Poverty imagination. Nakakainit ka ng ulo.
Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy Monday ulit sa ating mga ka-brunch.
Start the week off with a smile.
Yes.
Sa mga taong hindi nakakaintindi ng poverty.
mamaya.
Ganyan na ako eh.
Mamaya pag-usapan
Katang
natin yung
isip
poverty.
lang daw.
Oo. Nako, alamin natin yan mamaya yung kinaiinit ng ulo ni Jega. But this time around, let's continue muna our countdown. Coming to our seventh spot are religious miracles. The Vatican sharpened its rules for investigating supernatural events and miracle claims. This is the first time the Holy See updated the rules since 1978. The new norms call for more collaboration between the bishops and the Vatican over investigations of supernatural events. The final verdicts of the bishops should be submitted to the dicastery for approval. Vatican said some so-called supernatural events were products of overactive imaginations and lies. Vatican earlier rejected claims of miracle in Italy in which a statue of Virgin Mary reportedly cried blood and caused a pizza to grow.
All right, let's move on to the next. Coming in at Angel. Oo.
Ito na from Imagine. Ito totoo yatang nag-i-imagine.
Oo,
diba?
kasi yung kanina pizza na lumalaki.
Oo. Ito, tingnan natin. Coming in at our top 6. Presidential Advisor on Poverty Larry Gadon claims that poverty is only haka-haka or imagination. In a televised interview, Gadon says those who say that life is difficult are only imagining it. He explained that Filipinos have high purchasing power as evidenced by the volume of people in malls. A recent Okta survey shows only a slight decrease in self-rated poverty across the country. More than 11 million Filipinos still consider themselves poor as of December 2023.
Now let's get the reaction of the Social Welfare Department.
Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao is now joining us via Zoom. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, ASEC. Siyempre, we would like to ask for your reaction dun po sa statement ni Presidential Advisor on Poverty Alleviation, Larry Gadon, na imagination lamang ang kahirapan.
Well, I'd like to re-echo what our secretary has earlier mentioned in the press conference that he had earlier. And he said that he will be coordinating with Secretary Gadon within the day. So we will have to wait for whatever conversation that he will have, or the result of the conversation that he will have with Secretary Gadon. But on the part of the DSWD, ongoing po yung pagpapatupad ng mga programs and services that aim to reduce poverty. We are fully committed to fulfill our contributions doon sa pag-attain ng nabanggit ni President in his first SONA address, in his first SONA na sinabi nga niya that by the end of his administration, we would have reduced poverty incidence to a single percentage. So ongoing pa rin yung aming pagpapatupad ng mga iba't ibang mga programa that would help or contribute in reducing poverty.
Well, with all these programs that ASEC, that the DSWD has in place, definitely meron pa tayong a significant amount of people who are feeling the brunt of poverty. But I would like to ask, what does the data tell you? Is it a trend that's going up na dumadami ang mga taong humihirap, or are we improving?
Well, based on the monitoring of the DSWD, and of course, doon na rin doon sa mga lumalabas na mga studies and surveys, and of course, yung result ng mga impact evaluation, particularly on the implementation of the Pantawin Pamilyang Pilipino program, we are very optimistic that the implementation of these various programs are gaining traction. With the mere fact na meron tayong mga nakikita sa ating mga 4Ps beneficiaries na nakakapag-graduate, yung mga anak nila ay nakakapag-ace o nakakapasa ng mga licensure examinations and that they are now gainfully employed. Malaking bagay po iyon for the DSWD because nakikita natin na merong result yung programa. The same goes with the different programs that we are also implementing.
Okay. I would like to ask lang po, Asek, based on your data, ilan po ngayon ang nakalista doon po sa database ng 4Ps, under 4Ps?
Well, as of today, yung ating beneficiaries for Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, that is at 4.4 million households. Para naman sa ating walang gutom or the food stamp program, ang target natin dyan, of course, is to cover 1 million food poor. Sila po yung nasa bottom ng ating talaan ng mga mahihirap. Currently, nasa less than 3,000 yung ating mga beneficiaries. But by the second semester of this year, we're scaling up to cover 300,000 households. Gayon din, yung doon sa assistance to individuals in crisis situation, ongoing naman po yan na ini-implement natin. And likewise, doon sa ating Sustainable Livelihood Program, Takalahi Seeds and other programs and services.
You mentioned earlier yung food stamp program. Asek, kumusta po yung implementation nito?
Yes, as I mentioned, we're at the pilot implementation. At the pilot implementation of the program, which started last year, we've covered less than 3,000 household beneficiaries in 5 areas. That's in Tondo, Manila, Dapa, Siargao. We also have in San Mariano, Isabela, Garchitorena, Camarines Sur, and Parang, Maguindanao. And by the second semester of this year, we will be scaling up our implementation to cover 300,000 households. So, yung dito nga po sa Walang Gutom, 2027, we are providing 3,000 pesos worth of food credits through electronic benefit transfer card to our beneficiaries. So, yun yung gagamitin nila to purchase the food that they need. But before they receive yung 3,000 pesos food credit, they attend nutrition education sessions. So doon tinuturuan natin sila how to prepare mura, masustansya at masasarap na pagkain. Apart from that, we are also capacitating them para sila naman ay makapaghanap buhay o makahanap ng trabaho later on, because that's again one of the objectives of the program, na turuan din sila to fish on their own eventually.
Yeah, idugtong ko lang din po dun sa katanungan ko kanina. Paano nyo po pa na-identify yung areas in which you're going to prioritize itong pagbibigay ng food stamps? No? Kasi according po dito sa recent survey ng SWS, mas tumaas daw po, nagkaroon ng pagtaas ng hunger situation sa Metro Manila as well.
Well, like 4Ps, ang walang gutom ay well-targeted po. Ibig sabihin, meron talaga tayong mga na-identify na mga prospective beneficiaries. That's from the DSWD National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction, or our listahanan. So doon po nakikita natin sino po yung pinakamahirap nating mga kababayan, because we did our survey in 2019. That's the latest survey that we had. And of course, doon makikita natin based on the indicators that and the matrices that we've used in coordination, of course, with the PSA, doon natin na-determine sino po ba yung kabilang sa bottom 1 million na mga pamilya na kinukonsidera natin as food poor. So sila po yung target beneficiaries for the Walang Gutom 2027.
Yes, lastly, Asek, I'd like to reiterate lang po, dun po, base po dun sa mga nabanggit nyo na mga numero, dun po sa data ninyo ng mga beneficiaries and other programs na ginagawa po ng DSWD, you can say po directly to us that poverty is not imagination.
Well, based on the programs that we are implementing, yes, we recognize that poverty exists. That's why we have poverty reduction programs in place.
Right. Thank you so much for your time, DSWD Asek Irene Dumlao.
Yun, at least medyo malinaw, di ba? Kasi ang pinag-uusapan kasi natin is increase or decrease of poverty. Now, definitely may improvements.
Yes.
But there are new families that come into play that are experiencing poverty, and it definitely is not imagined.
Oo.
Now, you cannot use as a basis or a sample size yung mga nakikita mo sa mall.
Exactly.
Because those who go to the malls, meron ng existing spending capacity. They already have a disposable income to begin with.
Tsaka you cannot generalize
They might not
because
be
napakalaki
mayaman
ng
or rich.
populasyon natin.
Kaya nga, they might not be rich, pero nakikita mo sa mall, may history na yung family history na kaya. Okay, ngayon, you don't expect those who are in the poverty level to go to the malls na tinitignan mo. For sure naman, you don't go to the same malls. So how could you say na imagine ng poverty?
Oo. Did you go to... Dito na lang di ba? Sa Metro Manila, nakita mo na ba? Naglibot ka na ba dito sa Metro Manila? Nakita mo na ba yung mga tao na walang masilungan, na walang makain, na mamali mo sa kalsada? Yun lang
Sometimes kasi, people with this kind of pananaw sa buhay, baka kulang ng vitamins, so they imagine different kinds of thought. Kasi it's nakakairita.
Yes,
Pasensya na
actually.
po, nakakairita because
Lunes sa Lunes
nakikita namin firsthand every day when we go to work. We're passing by sa EDSA. There's this guy sa gitna ng EDSA, nakaupo sa barrier, itim ang mukha, tapos nanginginig sa gutom. Hindi na siya humingi ng pera, ganun na lang siya. Tapos sinusukso na lang siya ng mga tao, ng food or whatever. Pero nakikita mo, I'm sure he's not imagining all that hunger in his nararamdaman niya.
Day in, day out, di ba? Alam
Day in,
natin,
day out,
nakikita
we
natin sa iba't
experience
ibang
people on the ground.
Kasi hindi tayo ang tawag doon, naka-focus lang sa isang lugar. 'Di ba? Nakikita natin sa buong Metro Manila,
Yes.
in Tondo, 'di ba? Kung saan-saan
What can you say, parang...
Tapos makikita din natin sa ibang lugar, 'di ba? Through social media as well and other news na talagang may poverty, may kahirapan
And lastly,
nangyayari.
'di ba?
Plus, 'di ba yung mataas ang percentage ng mga namamatay na bata sa hunger and malnutrition.
Yeah. Sometimes kasi
95 yan every day.
pwede mong sabihin hindi ka gutom pero undernutrition ang nararanasan mo because you don't have access to nutritious foods. Meron ka lang access sa mga food na mura. And sometimes the cheaper food pa na nabibili mo is not the healthiest.
Exactly. Tapos 'di ba, we're trying to get in touch with the Attorney Gadon, 'di ba? Secretary Gadon. Para malaman din natin yung side niya kung saan niya kinukuha yung kanyang mga numero, 'di ba? Hindi na nga pala siya attorney, pero presidential advisor on poverty alleviation, Larry Gadon. We're trying to get in touch with him para makuha natin yung side niya. Pero he's not replying as of the moment. 'Di ba? Pero
Alright,
yun.
let's move on. Sizzling at the fifth spot is PhilHealth. Marikina 2nd District Representative and economist Stella Kimbo questioned PhilHealth's claims of expanding benefits. In an interview with 1PHS sa Totoo Lang, Kimbo said the state insurer is struggling to implement their expanded benefits for their members. She added that members do not feel the substantial benefits of PhilHealth when they go to hospitals. This is why Kimbo is urging PhilHealth to decrease their contribution rate for the meantime.
Ang proposal ko is babaan natin and then kapag meron na po silang pruweba na kinakaya na nilang makapag-expand ng benefits, saka na lang nila taasan yung kinokolekta from members.
House Appropriations Committee Vice Chairperson criticized PhilHealth again for having over 200 billion pesos of unspent collections in 2023. She said PhilHealth should have no profit from collecting contributions. And the agency must have a meticulous actuarial study to properly utilize their funds.
Dapat zero ang profit mo. Pero the fact that 173 billion ang excess noong 2023, na hindi pa kasama yung excess from government subsidy, ibig sabihin nun, mali ang pag-compute ng premiums.
Yeah.
Ah.
In fairness naman kay,
Yes, yes.
kay Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, last year pa niya yung sinasabi, 'di ba? Yung nakikita niya yung difference, 'di ba? Nung pagko-contribute ng mga workers sa premium versus dun sa ginagastos nga ng PhilHealth, yung binibigay ng PhilHealth as benefits. And ito, you can see that, pwede mo i-connect yan yung story natin kanina sa poverty, 'di ba? Makikita mo sa lahat ng ospital nakapila yung mga tao, 'di ba, sa mga public hospital kasi wala silang pambayad ng kanilang medical bills, etc. Sa dami nun, isang ospital lang, bilangin mo yun. Day in, day out, every day.
Kaya nga ito was talked about by several lawmakers in the past na the ease of claiming yung PhilHealth benefits Number one is an issue. Number two, yung amount na sinasabi natin, yung contributions versus
Yes.
yung nahihita mong rewards is not anymore commensurate. So parang sinasabi nila, in a sense, parang ang presyo ng PhilHealth can be similar to some of the cheaper commercial yung mga Medicare institutions, 'di ba? So
yung mga private.
yung mga ibang tao, like middle class, why would they go now to PhilHealth?
Mas madali sa kanila.
That's why they have to improve the way they pay out, because in order for yung mga indigenous people natin, mga PWDs na hindi nakakatrabaho, mga seniors, they need the contributions also from the middle class para masustain yung pondo ng PhilHealth. Ngayon, kung mga middle class are dropping out or not contributing anymore, yung lifespan ng PhilHealth pwedeng mawala. Eh, yung problema, may surplus of funds pala.
Yung pala. Kaya nga, di ba, nabibilaukan daw si Congressman Stella Kimbo doon sa excess funds.
Kaya
ng
naiintindihan ko
PhilHealth.
si Kong, kung umiinit ang ulo.
Oo. Plus, you have hospitals also,
Yes.
di ba, claiming na hindi din
Hindi
sila
sila bayad.
nababayaran.
Oo.
And last year, during the hearing, sabi nga ng PhilHealth, they will try to pay. Di ba? Parang ilang percent ng mga ospital na naniningil. Ewan ko lang ngayon kung natupad yung
Narinig ko na sa
usapan
PhilHealth yan. They keep on saying they will try, pero hirap daw sila sa funds, di ba?
Pero they're sitting
Sitting
on
with
funds.
200 billion, di ba? 200 billion.
Hindi ko maintindihan.
Surplus
Oo,
of 200
hindi ko rin
billion.
maintindihan itong PhilHealth.
Ay, nako. Anyway, umagang Monday na Monday.
Lunes sa Lunes no? Oo.
Okay, next. Forming in the fourth spot is a grand coalition in Bangsamoro. 4 of the biggest political parties in the Muslim region formed the historic alliance for the parliamentary elections next year. The BARMM Grand Coalition consists of Al-Ittihad from Maguindanao, SIAP or Serbisyong Inklusibo, Alyansang Progresibo ng Lanao del Sur, Salaam from Sulu, and Bangsamoro People Party of Basilan. The coalition aims to make their autonomous region more united and inclusive. Under the Bangsamoro Organic Law, the region will elect a chief minister as their executive power. The BARMM Grand Coalition expressed their support for Sulu Governor Sakurtan as the next BARMM chief minister.
May iwasan natin, inshallah ta'ala, kasi yung mga lahat ng mga partido na dapat maglaban-laban ay nagkakaisa. Pare-pareho ang laban dito at hindi lamang yung mga governors, congressmen, kung hindi, pati yung mga MNLF, the Moro National Liberation Front.
Grand coalition talaga.
Yeah.
Because these are the leaders and the members of the different groups na talagang once they didn't like each other.
No.
Kumbaga, di ba? Because they have differences in political.
Pero kasi for Bangsamoro to develop, yung mga factions, ang dami kasing factions yan, ang daming beliefs,
Yeah,
ideologies.
yun nga.
They realize na paunladin muna natin to.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could have a democratic debate kung paano natin. Diba? Unity. At the end of the day naman
Yeah,
talaga.
totoo naman. Oo.
The word unity shouldn't be coined as a political term.
Yes.
Diba? Unity is an essential part of progress.
It
Unity,
should be,
peace
oo.
should be an essential part. Without unity, there will be no progress.
Yeah, so exciting times ahead, 'di ba, for them dahil nga tulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, these are the people na talagang once dislike each other due to political.
Yun lang nga, a stance of unity can falter as evident yung nangyari itong last
Yes.
election with PBBM and PRRD. Because kung wala kang basic ideology principles that you should go by and believe in, na at least may isang belief kayong mga grupo,
To hold, foundation.
to hold on to as a foundation, kung unity lang ang pinag-uusapan nyo, pagdating ng time na you're in power,
Magkakalas-kalas na kayo.
pwede kayo mag-away-away dahil hindi nyo pinag-usapan ng differences yung masyado. Pero it's good to see na several people in politics are trying this new approach, unity approach.
So dahil usapang coalition na tayo, meron pa akong isang dagdag dyan. On our third spot is another alliance between political parties. The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas or PFP officially sealed their partnership with Nationalist People's Coalition or NPC. This is after their formed alliance with Lakas CMD. Here's a report.
The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas or PFP and the Nationalist People's Coalition or NPC has formally joined forces together for the 2025 midterm elections. They call their alliance Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. This comes after PFP's alliance with Lakas CMD led by House Speaker Martin Romualdez. President Bongbong Marcos led the ceremony in Makati as the chairman of PFP. He said the two political parties has been helping together prior to their alliance.
We are not joining forces for some narrow electoral objective alone. Of course, the approaching political cycle is an important element and has added impetus to what we are doing. Our agenda is the nation's progress. Nothing more, nothing less.
Marcos also showed interest in joining forces with Nacionalista Party and National Unity Party. Meanwhile, NPC Chairman and former Senate President Tito Soto expressed commitment in forwarding the Marcos administration's agenda.
Kami naglalayon na isulong ang ating bayan sa magandang kinabukasan. Iba't ibang lugar ang pinanggalingan. Ninanais namin ang pagkakaisa. Sinisigaw ang katarungan, kaligtasan, karunungan, kaginhawaan at kapayapaan para sa buong sambayanan.
NPC is still forming their senatorial lineup for the upcoming elections. They are ready to support possible independent candidates who are close to them like Senator Pia Cayetano and former Senators Ping Lacson, Gringo Honasan, and Manny Pacquiao. As for his possible attempt to return to the Senate, Soto said he is still thinking about it. He is currently considering his time for his family and his business, as well as his age and health.
Yun.
Malaking, this is a big coalition.
Yes, NPC at saka PFP.
And we have to see, kasi anayin pa nagsasalita or nagkikwentuhan. Alam mo yung mga marites sa gilid, na there are supposedly 1 or 2 more parties that we should see na baka sumali daw sa coalition na ito.
Ay, gano'n naman talaga. Kung sino ang in power, dun maraming sumasali, nakikipag-alyansa.
Kasi kailan ba ang deadline ng filing? October. Ayan. So, from now until at least yung mga makikita mo movements until the last week of September, you should see movements. Mga iba kasi magbubulaga yan. Or yung iba will maintain their stance as a party separate from the coalition. But,
invited sila or guest candidate.
May mga guest candidates sa kanila, di ba? Parang yung nangyari sa hiwalayan ni Bam Aquino.
At saka
Liberal Party, di ba? Break na daw sila. Pero if Liberal Party wants to adapt Bam,
he's open to it.
Okay lang naman, di ba?
Okay
I-adapt. Pero his new party is in KANP.
Basta ang importante daw, kung sinasabi ng isang political analyst na nabasa ko, importante daw na buuin yung slate ng 12 senators. Wag daw yung, di ba kasi nauso yung before yung 8 diretso.
Pwede naman daw, if you're the actual main party, kung hindi makabuo, okay lang, 8 or 6, that's fine daw yon. Pero if you cannot fill up your slate, they at least mag-adapt a candidate.
Yun
na hindi sa'yo. Yun lang. At
para
least
ma-fill yung 12.
Oo. Kasi that way, yung votes mo, di ba, meron kang backup plan in case yung main candidates mo hindi makapasok. At least meron kang inadapt na with the same ideology, may chance ka pa sa political arena.
So iba-iba din yung nila ngayon. Sa bagay, ganun din naman talaga ever since pag election time na. Iba-iba yung, ang tawag doon yung strategy nila. Like, this time around, si Bam Aquino, na-feel niya na mas maganda magsabi ng mas maaga. Diba? Interview kay former Senator Tito Soto and former Senator Ping Lacson, medyo hindi pa daw sila sure. Pero nakikita mo, medyo visible na sila.
Yeah. Ang rule of thumb kasi dyan for a politician is, basic rule yan if maganda ang track record mo, if boy next door squeaky clean ang pagkakakilala sa'yo, sa family mo, then you can declare early because you need traction.
But walang mahanap sa'yo na butas, yun ang sabi.
Yes. I'm not saying corrupt or yung mga yung mga late na nagpa-file. I'm just saying, kung medyong controversial ka sa mga ginagawa mo, late ka na mag-file para hindi ka mapaghandaan. Alright, thousands of people joined JCI's Colorfest Electric Run for Hope on Saturday. The event featured various racing distances from 1 kilometer to 10 kilometers with over 6,000 participants. This is the biggest fun run organized by the JCI Manila. Organizers say proceeds from the race will go to Hospicio de San Jose. It is a temporary shelter that provides services to homeless children.
We're here to raise funds for the rehabilitation of the night shelter of Hospicio de San Jose. So this night shelter serves as a nightly haven for our homeless brothers and sisters. We wanted to help the pinaka bottom na. Talagang nasa end of their ropes na tipong they just accepted their situation. We wanted to give them hope.
All right, don't go away because we're not done yet.
May dalawa
dalawa
pa. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Thank you sa mga comments pala ng mga sa mga viewers natin. Masama sa Facebook.
Oo, si Ma'am Menchi ng Alagang Kapatid Foundation, sabi niya, Gadon obviously does not go to slum areas. So, to, di ba yung binabanggit ko din sa'yo kanina? Tapos, sino pa? Si Sam
Pokemon
Go. Sabi niya, breath of fresh air talaga kayong dalawa. Nice.
Keep mo yan. Kahit minsan umiinit ulo natin, breath of fresh air.
Si Gary Field, the usual suspects natin.
Si Gary
Alex
Field.
Fuentes, sino pa to? Si
Vlad.
DJ. Oo, lagi nanonood sa atin
Si
yan.
Vladimir Ponce de Leon.
Si Migs Ebron, birthday niya today.
Migs, happy birthday! Thank you for watching Brunch all the time. Okay. Game. Ano next? Moving over to our top two, the Department of Interior and Local Government recommended to place Bamban Mayor Alice Guo under preventive suspension. Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos says there are findings on possible illegal acts on the part of Guo. Abalos added that the proposed suspension will prevent any influence on the continuing investigation. Senators already questioned Guo's citizenship and her alleged connection to Pogos. Even President Bongbong Marcos said they have launched an investigation into Guo's identity. PBBM also made a statement after Mayor Guo posted their photos online.
That proves nothing. You know how many pictures I take during a campaign? Siguro 1,000 sa isang araw. Lahat naman humingi ng selfie, hindi mo namang hinihindi yan. So, doesn't really mean anything.
Yes. So, sa usapin ng selfie, totoo naman yun.
Kasi PBBM, sa senator,
Hindi,
diba?
ano siya eh.
I mean, umiikot talaga siya and you encounter...
Yung mga artista nga, diba, pag makikita ng ibang tao, pagpapapicture, doesn't mean na magkaibigan sila. Now, the difference is, let's say, for example, merong party, may birthday party to si Mayor Guo, tapos in-invite niya si President Bongbong Marcos. And then, he attended.
Eh, magkakilala kayo.
Yes,
Kasi
magkakilala kayo.
Na-invite ka sa party.
Hindi, pwede kang i-invite na hindi kayo kakilala, pero pumunta ka to grace the event.
Ako hindi ako mag-i-invite kung hindi ko kilala.
Diba?
Ba't ako mag-i-invite, di ko kilala?
Para may ano ka.
Nagdagastos lang
meron
yun.
kang, ang tawag doon, meron kang personality in your birthday. Pero hindi, going back doon sa investigation, that's actually true. Actually, yung ginawa, yung recommendation DILG, ang ano nga, medyo nabagalan ako eh. Dapat the moment na nagkaroon ng issue at kaagad na preventive suspension. Kasi meron siyang power to, I'm not accusing, pero usually gano'n naman ang ginagawa, di ba?
It's standard practice naman. During an investigation of an official.
Yes. Sitting official ka, nandoon ka sa opisina, you have access to documents, di ba?
Not only that, you can sway people who are conducting the investigation or yung people na i-interviewin or iimbestigahan. Pwede mong sabihin, huwag kayo sumagot. Diba? We're not saying na gagawin niya yan, but it's just a precautionary measure.
Exactly. Okay, let's move forward to our top story for today. Our top story for today is China's order in the South China Sea. President Bongbong Marcos condemned China's recently announced policy of arresting foreign nationals trespassing the South China Sea, including areas that are part of our exclusive economic zone. Here's the report.
Completely unacceptable. This is how President Bongbong Marcos described China's latest policy in the South China Sea. Hong Kong-based media outlet South China Morning Post reported that the Chinese government ordered its Coast Guard to arrest any foreign nationals trespassing South China Sea starting June. Arrested individuals will be detained for 60 days. This policy was announced days after civic group Atin Ito successfully reached Panatag Shoal. China has been adamant in accepting that the Panatag Shoal is part of our exclusive economic zone. President Marcos did not unveil the government's next steps regarding China's policy, but he assured Filipino fisher folks in West Philippine Sea that the government will protect them.
That kind of action would be completely unacceptable to the Philippines. Of course, once again, I do not talk about operational details, so you will leave it to us. But the position that we take is that that is unacceptable, and we will take whatever measures to always protect our citizens.
Security analyst Chester Cabalza agreed with PBBM sentiments.
Kahit saan mo naman dalhin yan, hindi siguro tatanggapin yun dahil it basically negates the principles of the international law.
News 5 is still getting the Chinese embassy's reaction to the president's statement.
And now to talk more about this, we have former Senator and Defense Secretary Orly Mercado. Thanks for joining us again today.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
All right po. What's your reaction about China's recent policy?
Well, they're ratcheting up their moves in terms of the confrontation. I think what is very important for us to remember is that this is a question of presence. If you look back, nagkaroon na ng mga pagkukulang in the past. We did not keep our eye on the ball and well, we did not spend enough resources to develop our own capabilities. And we're both to blame and circumstances, priorities, talagang hindi naman natin masisisi. Nung pinagbabawalan na tayong mangisda roon, at talagang obvious they were already constructing military structures and islands in violation of international law. The government is sworn to protect the territory and sovereignty. If you're not doing it, then you are remiss in your functions. And I'm very glad that the position of the government now is to really bravely and resolutely assert our sovereignty. And now we are able to do it largely because of the fact that things have also developed. Mas maganda yung hand natin ngayon dahil sa kailangan tayo, we need our allies, we need our neighbors, but at the same time, they also need us.
That's right.
Largely because of the fact that nagkakaroon ng question ng potential problem na malaki ang Taiwan. So, noong una, we were prisoners of geography. We're still prisoners of geography.
Yes.
But we can use now the geographic propinquity or the closeness to the areas that are going to be a potential problem for our advantage. And we have friends and allies. Ang importante lang dito, I think what we should have is we should rally around the government's position, regardless of our problems. And it's easier to say, no? I'm not going to put, and I have never been in the habit of assigning motives, no? To those people who disagree. Pero yung mga disagreement natin, let's keep it with ourselves. Ang problema sa atin is that we fail to realize that talagang may advantages ang demokrasya, pero may disadvantages yan. We have an open society. Napaka-porous ng borders natin. Ang dali naman bilhin ng visa o kung kinakailangan. Meron tayong mga pagkukulang in terms of corruption, etc. But that is also present in China.
Yes.
They're not such a country that walang corruption, walang problema, but closed ang society nila. Tayo open. Now, that openness can be both an advantage and a disadvantage. Where it is a disadvantage, we must learn to adapt. And let us not compound the situation by quarreling openly. And let us keep to, kung meron kayong mga suggestions, and there are many ways by which we can bring this to the government. But we should be standing behind the government on a matter of territorial integrity and sovereignty.
I agree with that, Sec Orlino. Ang question ko is, you were mentioning a while ago about what the government now is doing is possibly succeeding because nag-react na po ang China with this new policy. Ang question is, Sec Orly, now should the government continue on this path of being persistent in sending sending our fishermen, sending our Coast Guard boats, despite of the water cannons, tuloy-tuloy po natin to, and then we'll wait and see if they really will detain us. And in case na makulitan ng China, do you think they will take it a step further, aside from their threat of detention?
Alam niyo, pag ang isang bansa ay hindi military power, what it can use is not only soft power, but it can use also its capabilities that make them creative, that make them innovative, and that make them different. Kahit na yung kanilang founding chairman ng Communist Party, si Mao Zedong, pag binasa mo yung kanyang mga asymmetrical warfare ang tinuturo niya, kaya nanalo sila eh. Ang kalaban nila, nationalist Chinese, sila Chiang Kai-shek, backed by the Americans pa yan. But they were able to win over the people with creativity, with people's war, a war of attrition. And sa atin, we can apply the same things. Tama naman yung ginagawa natin ngayon eh. Matagal na namin sinasabi nung araw, let's put our own militia.
Yes.
Let's utilize our own fishermen. Yung ginagawa sa atin, yan ay hindi bago eh.
Right.
Mas dapat creative tayo. Marami tayong maiisip ng mga paraan. Parang minsan, kumbaga sana ang lahat ng, hindi naman lahat ng sinuntok natin yung talagang pambabagsak eh. Pero yung jab is sometimes a prelude to a hook or an uppercut. And so,
That's right.
that should be, and we should do everything that we can do, both in the diplomatic realm and in the, uniformed services realm, like the Coast Guard, the Navy, Air Force, and the Marines.
But do you think po that this policy will lead to bigger implications rather than the harassment in the West Philippine Sea? Kasi according nga po kay former senior Supreme Court Associate Justice Carpio, sa UNCLOS natin, only coastal state has sovereign rights and jurisdiction over its EEZ. And by bigger implications, ay makakalaban din po ng China, of course, yung iba pang claimants sa South China Sea.
Alam niyo, si Justice Carpio has been a beacon of strength and innovation and clear thinking. Sa akin, marami siyang mga moves, marami siyang mga suggestions that we should listen to. He gave, in a recent meeting that we've had in Ateneo, he gave a very important, ngayon, I'm not at liberty to say all of these things. But the point what I'm trying to raise is that we have to be present there. Ang importante, this is all a matter of presence. Bakit? Paano ba, lagi kong inuulit-ulit, paano ba yung mga malalakas na bansa, paano na nakukuha yung bagong teritoryo? Pwede, katulad ng Russia, invasion ng Ukraine, annexation ng areas, Crimea, yung malapit sa kanila. Pero pwede rin bilhin. Katulad ng Russia, binili nila, pinenta nila sa Amerikano yung Alaska long time ago. Tapos, o kaya, effective occupation. We should be present there. Constant yan.
Yes.
The Malaysians, nagtayo ng kanilang industry doon, tourism. Tayo, ang mga fisher folk natin nandun, yun ang supportahan natin na maigi. Kung kinakailangan harap-harapan, tapatan din yung kanilang, what you call this, yung kanilang maritime militia. Ganun din, kaya rin naman natin yan sa guerrilla warfare. Hindi naman, kung tayo matatakot, bakit pa tayo nagkakaroon ng armed forces para labanan ng sinisigaw pa natin yung pag kinakanta na sa manlulupig, di tayo pasisihil. Ang mamatay ng dahil sa iyo. Tapos binuhusan ka lang ng host, tapos ayaw ka na, suko ka na. Hindi naman nuclear war ka agad yan kung tutusin. And we should know that when we draw a red line, we follow it and we show our strength. And the fortunate thing that's happening to us is that we are on the right. Tayo ang tama eh. Tayo ang sinasabi ni Justice Carpio. We have the law on our side. We have international law. Marami tayo pa, kung kinakailangan pa magdemanda, continue and press it hard. Yes, we should do that. Huwag tayo, makaka-lucky punch din tayo. Mapapabagsak natin yan ng
I agree, Sec Orly. Stay the course and keep strong. Sec Orly, I'd like to take this opportunity, cambio muna tayo a little kasi medyo umiinit na ang political arena. Malapit na po ang filing of Certificate of Candidacies, lumalapit na po ang eleksyon. Now, this last few weeks of movement, ano po ang nakikita niyong mga possible na mangyari sa eleksyon? We have former Senator Bam Aquino leaving the Liberal Party officially and forming his own party. We have yung latest, yung kay Tito Soto, joining yung Grand Coalition.
Sa akin naman, regardless of what parties, whether you want to play the role of a fiscalizer or watch the government, importante sa demokrasya yan. But pagdating ng mga issue ng international relations natin and to protect our own resources, especially maritime resources, dapat nagkakaisa tayo rito. Dito hindi na importante yung anong partido o sino Iisa lang yung mga pinag-aawayan natin sa noong nakaraan, isa-isang tabi natin yan. Kung hindi ang mawawala sa atin napakalaki ng maritime resources. And talagang it will be the victory of brute strength over reason. And we cannot allow that to happen. And we are on the right. We have the moral ascendancy to be able to do it. But let us not think small.
Yes,
Let us not, mahirap yung defeatist eh. Hindi natin kaya yan. O ano tayo, pa kahit isang mamatay na Pilipino, hindi dapat mangyari. Mamamatay yung mga anak, mga apo natin, kaapu-apuhan natin sa gutom dahil sa pinabayaan natin na ang China ma-occupy yung kanilang 10 dash line o 9 dash line. Hindi ko lang kung ilang dash line na yung ginagawa. Ano lang only because they're strong.
Yeah.
But we are not that weak when you come to think of it. Hindi naman tayo lalaban ng mano-mano isa-isa. Kung mga kung malaki kalaban natin, sa martial arts tinuturo, you should know the weak points of your enemy and be creative in fighting them.
Finally, Sec Orly, I'd like to just emphasize on what you're saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying the key here is consistency, and regardless kung sino ang manalo sa mga candidates natin, whether it's the opposition or the pro-admin, as long as they all take the same stance with regards to foreign policy, we'll be okay.
You cannot take any other stand.
Yes.
When you swear to uphold the Constitution, as a senator, or even as an ordinary kagawad in the barangay, etc., you're swearing to protect the country's resources and the country's territory. That's your job, or else don't enter the government.
All right.
Right, interesting. Always interesting to talk to former Senator Orly Mercado. We hope, Sec, to have you soon again on the show.
It's
Baka
always a
pwede
pleasure
live,
to talk
sa
to the
studio.
Castros. Every time, binabanggit sa akin, naalala ko, si Boy, si Daldi, and our young days.
You're still young, sir. Okay, maraming salamat po, former Senator and Defense Secretary Orly Mercado. Okay, maganda yung mga insights niya.
Yeah.
We may not have
Take the
the might
stand.
of the military compared to
The
China.
law is with us.
The law is with us.
Tayo yung tama
But all in all kasi, ang nagiging key kasi sa admin nito, the way they handle the foreign, yung West Philippines is consistency.
Yes.
We were consistent enough na yung presence na sinasabi ni former Senator and Secretary Orly Mercado, yung presence na natin in that area, kahit wina-water cannon tayo, kahit ang lalaki ng barko nila, you
We're
can
still
see
there.
us, we're still persistent in doing this. So maybe China sees na yung response nila water cannon is not enough. So now they're ramping it up by saying, sige, tuloy nyo pa yan, i-detain ka namin. Kung tuloy-tuloy
Sinasabi
pa-
ko nga kanina, di ba, dahil nga hindi yan po pwede, yung ginagawa nila is against the UNCLOS. Diba?
they don't
makakalaban din nila yung
But they don't
other
recognize
claimants.
naman the UNCLOS.
Hindi, kaya nga, makakalaban nila other
Ang key
claimants.
dito is
Isipin
yung-
mo, kukulong sila ng Vietnamese, ng mga Indonesian, lumampas sa territory.
So we have to see that. Because kung tayo lang pinagdiskitan
Unless,
nila, makikita mo na...
tingnan natin yung mismong
selective.
resolution nila, di ba, yung guidelines nila, is it only for the Philippines or others? Pero sabi nila foreign, di ba? Pero let's see, tignan natin.
Alright.
Thank you muna tayo.
Oh,
kay,
yeah. Thank you kay Pam.
And of course, the rest of
Svensson
Svensson
family.
Philippines, our Svensson
For
family.
filling us up with
sending
calories
us.
this morning of yummy goodies. Mga iba-ibang baked goods.
Oo.
And since it's a Monday morning, I'd like to leave them with a quote that they could use. It is only when we take chances that our lives improve. The initial and the most difficult risk we need to take is to become honest. A quote by Walter Anderson.
Be honest.
Be honest. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.